Hey there, I'm Sven Falk, a guitar teacher located near Frankfurt, Germany. In this video, I will give you some quick tips about the hand you use to grab chords. For me it's the left hand, for you it might be the right. So if you are a beginner and you're just trying to practice basic chords, these tips might be helpful for you while you're doing your first steps. So let's dive into it. Let me give you a short overview about what we will do today. First, I will give you some explanations about the general posture of your grab hand, thumb position, the right angle between your finger and the fretboard, and the space between your palm and the guitar neck. And then I will give you some exercises so you can practice the issues discussed earlier. So first, let's talk about the right posture of your grab hand. Imagine you're taking a ball and wrapping your fingers all around that ball. You will see that your fingers and your hand will get in a very round posture. And that's a perfect starting point for grabbing chords. Of course, if you put your hand on the guitar this way, it won't stay this way if you play chords, but it's a good starting point. The next thing we need to talk about is the thumb position, and there are two issues about that. Firstly, use the whole surface of your upper thumb bone, not just the tip. So what I mean about that is, when you press chords, put your thumb this way, not that way. And somewhere around this area. Second thing, actually use your thumb to press chords. I know beginners tend to do this while playing chords. They try to wrap their whole hand around the neck and then they play the chords. And I know there are lots of guitarists, also famous guitarists, who do it this way, and it's okay. But if you're just starting to play guitar, you want to build up strength in your hand. So that's why you should place your thumb this way and use the right hand posture to grab chords and to build up strength in your hand. The third issue is the right angle between your finger and the fretboard. And the reason why you want to have a right angle between your finger and the fretboard is that when you are pressing down the string with one finger and you don't have a right angle, then you will mute the string that is below that string. And then your chord will sound something like this. So you want to try to have a right angle so that the strings that are not pressed down by any of your fingers will ring as well, and your chord will sound something like this. The last thing that you need to take care of is that you keep space between your palm and the guitar neck. The reason is, if you are touching the guitar neck with your whole palm, then it's very likely that you will also mute the lowest E string. And then you will always have this low E string sound in your chord. Click, 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 click. That's why you should keep space between your palm and the guitar neck, so that also the lowest E string can ring. So let's start with the exercises. We will take 3 chords, G major, Dsus2 and Am7, to practice our hand posture and also to have some chords to start with. The first exercise I'll call press and release. We will take 1 chord at a time and press the chord down and release it again. So you can practice the right hand posture and also pressing down the strings properly. Let's start with G major. You take your pinky and put it into the 3rd fret of your lowest E string. And then you play D, G, B and E string to have a G major chord. And then you release the fingers again and just play the 3 strings and then G major again. So do that for a couple of times to practice the issues we discussed earlier. So the next chord is the Dsus2 chord. You take your ring finger into the 3rd fret of your B string and your middle finger into the 2nd fret of your G string. And then you play the D, G, B and E string to have a Dsus2 chord. And then you do the same exercise. Play the chord and release the fingers and play just the open strings. Then press the chord again, play it, and so on, as we did with G major. The 3rd chord will be Am7, so take your middle finger, put it into the 2nd fret of your D string, then your index finger into the first fret of your B string and play all strings except the low E string, that one. And then you will have Am7. And same exercise, play the chord, release the fingers, open strings, and so on. The second exercise is also press and release, but now we do it with two chords. We start with G major and Dsus2. So you press G major, then you release it, and press Dsus2, and release it. Back to G major, open chord, Dsus2, and open strings. And if that's too easy for you, you also could go with a direct change between these two chords. So G, and then you immediately go to Dsus2. The next change would be Dsus2 and Am7. So again, you start with Dsus2, open strings, Am7, open strings, Dsus2, open strings, Am7. And if that's too easy, you again could go with a direct change between those two chords, Dsus2, and then immediately go to Am7, Dsus2, Am7, and so on. And the last change would be from Am7 to G major. So we start with Am7, open strings, and then G major with the pinky. Open strings, Am7, open strings, G major. So now we can try to play those three chords in a row. We start with G major, then Dsus2, and then 2 times Am7, and then we'll have the song Knocking on Heaven's Door. G, Dsus2, Am7, Am7, G, Dsus2, Am7, Am7. And if you want, you can sing along. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. So let's make a short recap about what we learned today. Firstly, we talked about the general posture of your hand. That means you should try to keep a round shape of your fingers and your hand while you press the chords. Secondly, you should use the whole surface of your upper thumb bone while pressing chords. Thirdly, you should try to make a right angle while pressing down strings so that you don't mute strings that are below the string you're pressing down and that should be open. And the last thing was the space between your palm and the guitar neck, for the same reason that you don't mute the lowest E string. If you just started to play guitar, you maybe get frustrated very soon if things don't work out the way you want them to. And then you are sometimes tempted to compare yourself to other people who play the guitar better than you. And there I want to encourage you, don't compare yourself with other people who are better than you, but compare yourself to the person you were yesterday or a week ago. Because if you sit down every day and practice, even if you are frustrated, you will see progress after a week or after 2 weeks. And then you can compare yourself to the one you were 2 weeks before, and you'll see that there will be progress. And that's encouraging. So don't compare yourself to better guitar players. Compare yourself to the guitar player you were yesterday or a week ago. Now I just want to say thank you for watching the video, and if you have any other comments, ideas or questions, let me know in the comments, since everything I'm demonstrating here is just my experience and my experience is limited. So maybe you have better ideas and would be nice if you shared them with me. If you liked that video, give me some thumbs up, and if you like that video very much, it would be nice if you subscribe to that channel to be updated with new videos. Thanks again and see you soon.